Well, here's the history of October 7th that has been buried on the internet. It is a convenient rewriting of the war in Gaza and October 7th, and it allows for supporters of Israel to say, well, just give us back the hostages and this war will end. The truth is that Israel has many times offered to or declined to take their hostages back when Hamas offered, and that Hamas originally offered all hostages back in exchange for their hostages that Israel had, and Israel refused. The phrase all for all seems to be buried on the internet. What it refers to is Hamas's early offer to release all Israeli hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners, many of whom I want to say were hostages, and I'm going to prove that in a second, and that has virtually disappeared from English language media and archives. So if you look around for proof of this all-for-all prisoner swap, that it was Hamas's original demand, it's hard to find now, but it was widely circulated in Eastern press in 2023, although very few American outlets picked it up, probably because it highlights Israel's practice of detaining Palestinians without cause, most of them children, and it detracted from the truth that Israel was not in good faith acting to get their own hostages back. Now let's go through this inconvenient recent history before it's gone, 1984 style. Prior to October 7th, Israel had approximately 5,000 political prisoners that were Palestinians, many of them women and children that were held without trial or charge, and many of whom claimed to have been victims, and this is documented, of sexual abuse while in prison. Now Hamas wanted them back in exchange for captured Israelis, and the Netanyahu government refused several times. Now, right after October 7th, this was reported in Israeli press outlets as well. This is Ynet saying that all for all was the original deal. Israel rejected this because they said, this was their claim, we can't trust Hamas. So imagine you're a family member of a hostage and the Israeli government won't at least try a full prisoner exchange, a full hostage exchange. It's not that hard to trust that this goes right, have all your people out in the open. If your people are not released, you don't do it. But instead, Israel said, that won't work. We need to put military pressure on Hamas. Well, now 2 years later, we understand what that meant. That meant they wanted their military operation far more than they wanted their hostages. Clearly, families of the hostages confirmed that the Netanyahu government refused when Hamas offered them all as recently as as soon after the war as October 9th. Here's the coverage of this again from the Times of Israel. The families say that the Netanyahu government refused to agree to the hostage release in the immediate aftermath of October 7th. Take a look at this quote from a hostage family representative. We found out that Hamas offered on October 9th or 10th to release all the civilian hostages in exchange for the IDF not entering the Gaza Strip, but the government rejected that offer. So don't tell me that this can end if Hamas gives all the hostages back when this has been on the table all along. Now, let's talk about those Palestinian prisoners for a minute. Some jerks on X are telling me these are all convicted criminals. Clearly, these people don't understand Israel's detention policies. So I'm going to tell you, maybe some of them were criminals, but Israel does not ever have to produce proof of that, because just like when Obama adopted the rationale of any Arab boy past puberty could be droned and killed under the excuse that they were probably or could have been a combatant, we should universally reject that. You wouldn't accept that for your family or your government. If you have noticed that summer brings on those visible dark marks and sunspots, other blemishes that the sun leaves behind, well, then you want to look into Genucel's dark spot corrector. It visibly fades away dark marks, sunspots, scars, and other signs of discoloration all over your skin. It's formulated with the patented LumaSkin, which is a revolutionary new ingredient, plus Genucel's legendary base, and it's shown to visibly reduce age spots, sunspots, and even tone for brighter, more youthful look. You'll be amazed how you'll quickly see results, guaranteed or your money back. And right now, you can get the dark spot corrector with every Genucel complete skincare package for over 70% off. Just enter our promo code REDACTED at checkout for extra discount. World-class skincare that works, guaranteed or your money back. Order yours right now at Genucel genucel.com/redacted. One more time, that's genucel.com/redacted. And you'll get the free spa box with 2 bonus gifts plus free shipping. You'll save over 70% on the complete skincare package. One more time, that's genucel.com/redacted. Long before October 7th, Israel practiced what is called administrative detention to detain Palestinians for months or years without charge, trial, or conviction. We have known this for decades. Here is a 1981 paper published in a law journal that documents how Israel routinely uses administrative detention to imprison Palestinians without charge, trial, or conviction. Based on oftentimes secret evidence or hearsay, the accused cannot refute the evidence because they are never allowed to see it. This article warns that such indefinite detentions violate core principles of due process and rule of law, and we have known this for over 40 years, and this has not changed. I brought the wrong screenshot. That is not changed in 2022. You can look up a journal article called The Decline of Habeas Corpus in Israel, where legal scholars continue to lay out how Israel still does this and denies fair trial to the Palestinians. It is still happening. Now, the American press was willing to admit this prior to 2023. Here's a 2019 article about a video that went viral where an IDF soldier went to an elementary school to detain this 9-year-old boy who they say was throwing rocks. And in the video, the teacher tries to prevent the detaining of her student, and the soldier threatens to break her arm. This was not unusual at the time. And in fact, Vox admitted that Israel was doing this to the tune of between 500 and 700 children per year. Children detained by Israel. Now, that was clear. We saw evidence of this when the prisoner exchange eventually did happen. Many of them were, in fact, women and children. Now, when we point this out, people say probably, women and children can be criminals too. Of course they can. This should not be controversial. This should not be at all something we have to guess at. Either they're convicted with proof or they're not. If some government took your child, accused them of throwing rocks, gave you no evidence, no right to a lawyer, did not inform you of the charges, showed no evidence, and then continuously renewed the detention indefinitely, how would you feel? And are we for that if we support Israel? I'm against that on behalf of every government. No government should be able to do that. That doesn't mean I support terror. That means I think that also is terror. People want to argue with me on X, saying that those are probably all criminals. Like this person saying it's a fair guess that most of those Palestinians that Israel had in their charges were criminals. And I'm saying probably they are criminals is not a standard of justice that any of us should accept. It is a rationalization for injustice. You would not want that for your family. That logic would never be acceptable if it was applied to us. So, of course, we don't support Hamas. We don't support the Netanyahu government. We support the civilians on both sides. None of them should ever have been dragged into this, full stop. So these people saying that, we just want the hostages back, that's what the Netanyahu government is after, that has been disproven. That's not true. They didn't. They wanted the war more than they wanted their own people. I think that evidence is clear now. So that's no longer a rationale to support this war. So let me know what you think of that.